President William Ruto is in panic after the judiciary turned against him ahead of the 2027 general election. Welcome to Kenya Lens Media, where we give you news updates as they break, and kindly, if you're new here, consider subscribing. The High Court has extended orders blocking the government from selling 15% of its stake in the Safaricom company, a deal valued at more than 204 billion Kenyan shillings, as judges move to preserve the subject of an ongoing constitutional case. The decision was made by a three-judge bench appointed by Chief Justice Martha Koome. The panel, made up of Justices Francis Kikonyo, Ouya Tabitha Wanyama, and Roselyn Abrili, ruled that the conservatory orders already in place will remain effective until April 27, 2026. On that day, the court is expected to hear a formal application seeking to extend the orders further, possibly until the full constitutional petition is heard and determined. The ruling effectively maintains the status quo. It prevents any further steps towards the sale of the government shares in Safaricom, while the case is still before the court. Judges stated that preserving the subject matter of the petition is necessary to ensure that the court processes is meaningful and not overtaken by events. At the center of the dispute is a proposed transaction by the National Treasury to dispose 15% of the government stake in Safaricom, and the petition challenges both the legality and the process surrounding that decision. Lawyers representing the petitioners argued that the matter is not of significant public importance. They urged the court to ensure that no irreversible action is taken before all legal questions are addressed. Senior counsel Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, leading the petitioners' legal team, emphasized the need for judicial protection of what he described as critical national issue. His submissions focused on maintaining the court's earlier orders, which had already halted the sale. He also informed the court that several applications are expected to be filed in that matter, reflecting the wide public and institutional interest in the case. Among those seeking to join the case as interested parties are former Nairobi Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko and former Principal Secretary Irungu Nyakera, and their legal representatives indicated that they do not oppose the continuation of the conservatory orders. The court also received an application to include Vodafone Kenya Limited as the additional respondent. The petitioners argue that the company's ownership structure is relevant to the issues raised in the case. In addition, the petitioners have requested permission to amend the original petition. They say the changes are necessary to correct certain issues and also update the case in line with recent developments. The court granted this request. It directed all parties to file and exchange responses, including any supplementary affidavits, within 7 days. The timeline is intended to ensure that the case proceeds without unnecessary delay, while still allowing all sides to present their arguments fully. In their submissions, the petitioners also raised the concerns about the timing of the proposed sale, and they pointed to a decision by the National Treasury effective April 1st, 2026 to proceed with the transaction. According to the petitioners, this move raised questions about compliance with existing court orders. They further argued that attempts that had been made to lift the conservatory orders during the court recess period. This, they said, demonstrated urgency and also heightened the need for the court to maintain its earlier position. The petitioners warned that allowing the sale to proceed before the case is concluded could have far-reaching consequences. They cited the economic importance of Safaricom as a major contributor to Kenya's economy. Safaricom is one of the country's largest companies and also plays a central role in the telecommunications sector. It is also associated with M-Pesa, a widely used mobile money platform that has gained international recognition. The petitioners highlighted concerns about the potential impact on national interests, including economic stability and also strategic control of key infrastructure. They also raised issues related to national security and also integrity of electoral processes, and Safaricom infrastructure has previously been used in the transmission of election-related data, making it a sensitive national asset. Lawyers representing interested parties echoed some of these concerns. They emphasized the importance of maintaining control over what they described as a strategic national resource. However, the application to extend the conservatory orders was strongly opposed by the state. Legal representatives from the Office of the Attorney General, the National Treasury, and also Parliament argued that there was no justification for continuing the orders. Through Senior Counsel John Ohaga, the respondents told the court that the due process had been followed in initiating the sale. They maintained that the transaction had received the necessary approvals, including from Parliament. The government's position is that the sale is lawful and part of the broader fiscal and economic planning, and it argues that halting the process could interfere with the policy implementation. Despite these objections, the court ruled in favor of maintaining the interim orders for now. The judges emphasized the need to balance competing interests while ensuring that justice is served. They directed that all pending applications and also responses be filed within the set timeline. This includes submissions on whether the conservatory orders should remain in force for the longer period. The matter will return to court on April 27, 2026, and on that day, the judges will hear arguments on whether to extend the orders until the final determination of the case. The outcome of that hearing could shape the next phase of the dispute. It will determine whether the government can proceed with the planned sale or must wait for the full resolution of the petition. For now, the ruling means that the proposed transaction remains suspended. No shares will be sold until the court provides further direction. The case continues to draw attention from legal experts, policymakers, and also public. It raises broader questions about governance, public interest, and also the management of the state assets. It also highlights the role of the judiciary in reviewing major government decisions, especially those with significant economic implications. As the legal process unfolds, all eyes remain on the court. The next hearing is expected to provide further clarity on the future of the proposed Safaricom stake sale. For now, the deal is on hold, and the final decision rests with the court as Kenya watches closely. That is all from Kenya Lens Media, where we give you news updates as they break. Kindly, if you are new here, consider subscribing, liking, and sharing our content. Equally, hit the notification bell, turn it on so that you can be receiving notifications each and every time we bring a new content.